I do still love it, yes, and I prefer that, although I do treat other people as well. But there is a big difference because athletes want to move and they want to get better, so the motivation is a lot stronger, whereas with the average regular person who's a couch potato, are not so interested, and the average person who's not an athlete want you to fix them. Whereas the athlete is normally more willing to do some work themselves, which is easier for me. I think the focus must be right in the beginning to tell the athlete that this is a team effort. So I will facilitate, but you are actually going to do the healing yourself. So we don't go and fix a body, we facilitate that, and the bodies always heal themselves. So it's very important that the athlete understand that if they're not going to do their 50%, then it's not going to be a good teamwork. Okay. Yeah. And then they will blame you all the time if anything goes wrong. Yeah. I've always loved that part of it, yes, but that was not the intention. Initially, it was really the more physical thing. But it's recently that I found out that even with my pro athletes, once I've balanced them and they're in the neutral position and they win their medals and they win their championships and all of that, as soon as they become really stressed or depressed or something happens in their life, then the old pattern shows up. Not in an injury, but if I do an assessment, I say, oh, so why is the shoulder slightly going tight again? So nothing that shows up in their competition or in their training. But so there's always a default pattern, and each body's got its own default pattern that sort of sits there, lingers there latently. And I can control it beautifully, seeing them once a month and making sure that the body stays in the neutral. But as soon as the stress levels go up, then they slightly move into the same old pattern. And that's where I'm thinking, where does that come from? Yeah. And there the mind comes in. So, I mean, you know, if there's fear installed in the subconscious mind as a young child and you sit with that fear, as soon as the fear comes up, I trigger your button, something triggers your button, then you go into that pattern. It's almost like it's the body's way of protecting itself or controlling, and it's always the same pattern for the same person, and your pattern will be different to your friend's pattern. I'm only starting this. I've started my first course in this. I did a course called Psych K, which is an American course, and it's a method where you can sort of enter the subconscious mind, almost like hypnosis, although it's not hypnosis, but enter the subconscious mind and get to the underlying issue that triggers them all the time. And then you sort of work around it, find a mantra and program the new mantra onto the subconscious mind. And again, you're just the facilitator, which is even more than in the liner method or in osteopathy, where you are really quite active 50%. But here you are really the facilitator, and the client or the athlete does everything themselves. You just guide them slightly. And I've started to do this with some of my athletes, and you can definitely see a change. So there's a whole world of experience ahead of me that I still need to go to. So very exciting. Yeah. It comes back to this default pattern. I mean, I am so fascinated by it. Why does everyone have one pattern? And there must be more to it than just what I'm doing, fascia. And yes, the mind is very interesting. But a week ago, I went to a conference, the Neuroathletic Conference in Munich, and there they were talking about the eye, and we did a test, for instance, where you have to look at your finger and then you bring your finger closer and your partner then watches your eyes, and as they're watching my finger coming closer, they saw that this eye was not moving at all and this eye was going from there to here, but no movement on this side, which means that one part of the brain is not working properly. So now I'm thinking, but maybe in my athletes there is an eye issue, and that is why they have to hold in the default pattern. So it could maybe not only be the mind, but why? So yes, my questions are multiple.
But you also find the answers to it?
Yes, yes.
So no,
always, the answers come. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Do they come by yourself, or do you also have a lot of contact to mentors and other people working in this profession?
Where I am in South Africa, the people are not fascia orientated at all. It's nowhere in the universities or anything, so I don't have mentors there. But yes, I try to follow on the internet, you know, different people. But very much my own, it feels to me always that there's something coming, an insight, and then I follow it, and then I read up about it. So there's not one specific mentor or anyone that I follow. I Google it. Thanks heavens for Google, because that brings me to courses and conferences and things, and that's where I find the answers. It's huge. I work completely on intuition. I always wait for the insights, and when it comes I follow it and I trust it. And that because I've done this for many, many years, I started the whole liner method concept to develop it 22 years ago, and 10 years ago people said to me, but you've got to teach this, you can't just keep this to yourself. And okay, well, I'll teach it, but now write it down. Write down what comes intuitively to you into a program that people can learn and work according to it. It's so difficult. Mm-hmm. And when I teach my courses, I can always see that there are some people on the course that immediately start following their insights. So I give them almost facilitate, and then they take it and they run with it, and they run in all different directions, which I love, because it changes my method, and yeah, great. A routine, because I mean, and I started to follow a routine a bit more when I started to teach, because I mean, you can't just teach intuition, it's not possible. So I have a routine that I teach. So when the client comes in, you listen to their story, you find out how they move, what their habits are, then I test their function. I have a bunkie test that I test the function, and then I test the whole body very quickly in about 10-15 minutes to see how you move. And then from the combination of the bunkie test result and the from test, which is the range of movement test result, I have certain algorithms where I look at specific patterns and that, and very quickly I have your pattern, and then I know where I can start working. So then I start and I teach them, start here or start there. So there is like a method, although I don't always follow it. I then know the pattern, and then I run with intuition. I actually don't really know. I have seen over the years, I've trained so many people now, and some people just get the knack of it and start their own business, and it just works, and then others just do not get there. I think if I think of recent people that I've trained, the people who believed in themselves and who had a passion, whenever you have a passion and you show that, you attract people. And whether you show it on social media or whether you do workshops or whatever, if you show the passion, you attract people, and then you will build your business. But if you are scared and not sure, and you attract the same. So I think, yeah, show your passion and speak out, share. And then, again, sharing, and then you will build your business, what you give out is what comes back to you. So, so it's all about sharing and giving, and I would think.
Okay, thanks, Benita Kropman.
It's a pleasure.